PlayStation 2 made a series of bizarre ass ads back in the mid 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so bizarre that people started like the ads had nothing to do with the product.
Wasn't there like a creepy baby or a creepy doll? Or something?
Yeah, it's a bunch of different ones. I'll try and pull them up, but it's really interesting because back in the day, it was looked at like super weird. The shock value was shock valuing,
Shock value.
and
Someone clip that.
like there's like this photo.
Oh.
There's this. There's the one with the eye that like really killed me. Let me see. I'll pull it.
You see, I'm such a horror junkie. I love that shit. Like,
This one,
oh my god.
because like that's the shape
That's
of the
so good.
controllers, the eye thing. Yeah, but the most famous one was like the weird baby doll.
Was this around the same time that like horror games were a big thing? Because like it could be in alignment with that.
Ooh. Yes, because the PS2 would have just launched, so like that would have been almost peak because the PS1 was so big and a lot of original games were like popping from that it's just like crazy. What am I searching for?
Because I more or less remember being a kid and like watching these like YouTubers. You know how they do like they as they game.
Yeah.
They like react.
Yeah.
And BuzzFeed was doing it heaps too. R.I.P. BuzzFeed.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
not-
happened to you, but ooh. I love it, bro. I love it. Why is he crying?
Shit is levitating now. And that's it. Like it's just weird ass shit. Like imagine that came on the TV back in
Yeah.
like 2006.
Yeah. I'm so curious if it did happen around the time that like that cultural wave
Yeah.
of like horror games happened, because like fully like I remember there was a phase on YouTube where like all the gamers on YouTube were just reacting to themselves. I think Slenderman was big
Yes,
back then,
yes,
and I was
yes.
just like, yeah, I really
Yeah.
wanted to play that game so bad, and I
Yeah.
wonder if it's leaning into just kind of that culture.
Yeah, it would have been at the time, but like the weird thing is that like it's not a conventional ad by any means of the word. Like no one watches that and goes like, "Oh, yeah, the PS2, PS3 has so many features. Let me get that." But it's left a memory in the people to this day. Like if you say PlayStation crazy ad, you think of that, or you think of the series of photos I showed you. So it's just kind of the thing where like if you're making the ads, do you want to go for more like, do you just want to create a memory in the consumer's head, no matter what the cost is, or do you make a conventional ad and just like go from there?
I don't know. I think for its time, it was very forward thinking, because when I think of like even our work with social media, like we always talk about either leaning relatable or absurd.
Yeah.
And the best videos have a combination of both.
Yep.
Like Joni does a really good job with her content where she's like super relatable, but like her character within the office environment is super absurd.
Yeah.
So I think this is definitely leaning into the absurdity, but
Yeah.
the relatable aspect is probably what was happening in culture
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Because like people will probably like, I think the best horror movies came out in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like I think that was just tapping into a societal wave.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think it has to do with something with the lack of, or like the social media was just starting at the time. So like we weren't too desensitized to everything that's scary. Like, I mean, I'm not like proud to say it, but like I've kind of seen it all now.
See, oh, you mean in
like
terms
just
of all
horror
the plots?
stuff, and
Yeah.
like even like that ad. If that ad plays today, it's not that crazy because a lot of
Yeah.
crazier things have been seen.
I think in terms of that and the timing, considering like the era,
Yeah.
they did a really good job in cutting through the noise, because like if I were a 2000s baby and back then it was like quite, and I think also they could get away with it at the time because like early 2000s when people were first coming onto the internet,
Yeah.
there weren't a lot of guardrails
No.
around what they could be
It
posting.
was the Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like goes to show like Shane Dawson being cancelled
Yeah.
like a decade afterwards. Wild.
But what
But
happened to that guy?
Honestly, he's probably just gonna hibernate for a wee bit, and people
Yeah.
won't forget, and then he'll just
Wasn't he
research.
pregnant at some point? I feel like I'm sorry. I don't know. This is the,
But
I don't
the
know.
segues.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's really cool. I think that's like really forward thinking of them, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't what kind of ads do they do now? Are they still doing like quickie?
No, they haven't. Which is the good thing, I think, because especially if you're doing that like shock factor value ads, I feel like you can only do it. I feel like it's almost like a one and done kind of thing. Because for one, you have to execute it really well the first time, which they did. So that's good. But I feel like if you keep doing it, it gets tackier by the second time, by the third time, by the fourth time, and people and like the audience is just gonna get sick of it. That it's like, okay, come on, this again.
Yeah.
Big 2024. This again? Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here?
Yeah.
So
I think like making an ad fresh is such a hard thing. I think that's why like they run it for like a whole year and then
Yeah.
they change concepts but I think like Apple does it really well. They like deliver the same message, but somehow it still feels fresh. But
the new iPhone is always the best iPhone. Yeah.
I mean, people were like kind of like roasting the iPhone 15 though. No?
The new one?
No. Right now it's a 16, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know. I'm not impressed either. Because I was trying to, I was super invested in hearing what they had about the AirPods Max Pros, the super big ones, heavy ones. Because I almost got a pair from the previous one. What did they change this time? It took them, because I think the last one came out in 2020, or like the first one. It took them 4 years just for them to change the charging port to a USB-C and make them in different colors. They didn't change the
Apple,
carrying case,
do
the
better.
weight, nothing. Fuck you, Apple.
Oh,
No, Steve Jobs, please. Tim.
I think he is he still alive?
No.
Okay. I don't think he is. I was like,
No,
what?
Nice.
I was like, I don't want to say that.
No. Shout out Steve, though. Shout out Steve.
Shout out Steve.
Yeah. But it's crazy because, like, those ads left people feeling on, like, one of two sides. It's either, like, you hated it and, like, you wanted to stay away from it. And the other side is, like, the people that actually embraced it. And I feel like those ads are, like, the best ads where, like, you just... I don't know what the word is. Not divisive, but, like...
Makes you feel something.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Either way.
I read a book by this, like, guy called Stephen Bartlett, and he was saying that he had an interview with one of the most, like, the biggest brand in skincare, dermatologist. Fuck. And she said something along the lines of, like, the least profitable outcome in marketing is indifference.
Yes.
Bruh. Mic drop right there.
Even like with just influencers themselves, like people should love or hate you. They shouldn't not give a fuck about you. Like the Haley Welch one, like people are hating it. People are hating her right now, but that's good, because it's only gonna take a matter of time for her to be loved again.
Yeah.
Because it's at some point the hate gets so much that it becomes cool to like what's hated.
Yeah. And I think from a creator's perspective, like the thing that you learn from there is that like if you're gonna pick a character for yourself online, because it's an aspect of you anyway, we always talk about personal brand being just an aspect of you, you need to fully lean into that character. Otherwise it doesn't really separate you from the noise.
Have you heard of Dax Flame?
Dax Flame.
Flame. Yeah.
Bro, I swear we're on both different sides of the internet.
No, come on, surely you've seen this guy. Okay, so this guy.
Question, have you heard of Freely Banana Girl?
Who? It's just the two sides of the internet right here. You've never seen this guy?
No.
Wow. Okay, so basically this guy is like, I want to say in his early 30s, and he had a YouTube channel back when like YouTube was just starting. Like he was one of the very first YouTube channels ever, and he's always had this character of like being insanely awkward, but like he's never broken character, and he's had like podcast appearances, like news, TV interviews and stuff, and to this day he's never broken character. So people still have this like, there's this like mystique about him of like, oh, is it really him? Is it? Because like he's been consistent. He's been him for so long that people don't actually know if it's like actually a character or not. And you just can't help but not watch it every time you see him.
Yeah, it's basically like how Gordon Ramsay rose to fame. Like he
Yeah.
leaned into that like asshole chef,
Yeah.
but in reality, like if you ask people who actually watched of him, they
Yeah.
say that he's the sweetest
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
and like he goes to like cook for like in prisons to help
Yeah.
with like just I don't know. It's so interesting.
I
But
saw this.
goes to show if you know how to play the game.
Yeah. I really want to show you. I don't know. My head's all over the place. But speaking of Gordon Ramsay, I want to show you this guy. He did like a fucking insane Gordon Ramsay impression, and it's like, wait,
Oh my god! Side note: I used to I
Yeah.
went through a phase where
yeah,
listening to Gordon Ramsay and his cooking videos, like just
Yeah.
listening to it,
yeah,
was the thing that helped me fall asleep at night.
him shouting at contestants.
No. He'd just be like, "Look at me, so beautiful." Like
Yeah, no, what?
charred broccolini.
He's going to show us how he does the chai summer mocktail. Something nice, something refreshing, something with flavour.
Honestly, I could fall asleep right now.
Right?
Like, look at that.
Oh, no. The hygiene hate. Put it back in the cup now.
But it's so good. Like, fuck. Like if I close my eyes, that's Gordon Ramsay, 100%.
Really?
I think so.
I feel there's a bit more depth to his voice, but his intonation is good.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't consumed Gordon Ramsay like
Yeah, to be
that.
honest, I like probably watched 100 episodes while
Yeah.
I was sleeping, but yeah.
No, good guy. But yeah, those ads left people feeling weird,